Hello everyone, my name is Vikas Pandey and welcome back to my channel Learning with Vikas. So today we are going to talk about very basic things that everybody need to learn whoever are working in the IT field are planning to enter in this IT programming field. So the concept that we are going to talk about today, this is very important for whoever are in the programming field are planning to enter in the programming field. So the topic name is what is the object oriented programming. So I'm going to explain it in the very basic language, in the easy language that everybody can understand. And the concept that I'm going to describe, this is not going to be specific to programming language like .NET, Java, or anything else. The concept is going to be same across all the programming language. So the thing is here, I'll try to put across in the very simple language with the real life examples so that people can easily understand. And for everyone, like when you go for the interview, always, like I think no matter how much experience you have, but you always face certain questions that belongs to the object oriented programming, because all the companies love to write the program by following the oops concepts. So, but in this topic, I'm going to cover the basic and explain you like how easily you can understand this thing. So, with that said, let me just go a step back before I talk about the object oriented programming. When I said step back, that means I want to talk about little before object oriented programming, like what was before when we did not had this object oriented programming concept. So before OOPS, we had another methodology that is called POPs, Procedural Oriented Programming Language. So let's spend few minutes to understand like what is the POPs and what was the need of the OOPS. So when I said object oriented programming, so object means real things. In other language, we also called real life programming, real life based programming. But POP is called functional oriented programming or procedural oriented programming. So let me try to explain you what POP says. The POP says, let me just put across, with a very simple real life example. So let's say there is a bank. Let's say bank name is called Bank of America. Okay. And I want to open the account in this bank so that I can use the functionalities from that bank to deposit the money and withdraw the money. And I also can get the kind of unique account number. That's something I can share with anyone who can just deposit the money in my account. So this is the real life need in today's case. So if we need to follow or we need to implement, we need to understand in this sense, in the programming sense. So what pops, or if you go to the branch of that bank to open your account, and as soon as you open the account in the bank, you became an account holder of the bank. That means that branch can perform the work only for that person who just opened the account in that branch. Now, if the same functionality, like if someone else also came, person two, and he or she also wanted to have the same kind of functionality to that they can use withdraw and deposit functionalities from there. So in that case, the bank needs to write those functionalities separately for that person. It cannot be shared I mean the branch where I can use only that branch. But if another person came and he wanted to also use the same functionality, they cannot share. Now the bank has to open another branch for that particular person. If tomorrow third person came and he also want to reuse that same functionality, no, then again the bank has to open the third branch for that person. Is that possible in real life? No, it is not possible, right? But pop says to do that. So that is why we call procedural oriented programming. Means here we are focusing on the procedures, like we are just increasing the functions, we are increasing the branches, which is not possible here. And now, when it comes to the programming language, the same concept. If you just follow the same concept in the programming language, your program is going to be very lengthy, very complex. It is going to be very hard to maintain. You see what I'm saying? So that is the drawback of this pop. And overcome this kind of behavior of the programming, people came with the new concept or new terminologies called object oriented programming. So when I said objects oriented, right? So let's try to understand object. What is object? Object means anything exists here, right? Anything exists in the word is called object. Let's say I have a phone. Okay, let's say I have phone. In this phone, I have three cameras, right? I have, let's say, one TV memory. So like how much memory I in this phone has, how many cameras it has, what type of phone it is. All these things are called the properties of this phone. But this phone is an object. This phone is the object because this exists in the word. But each object has some properties. So the properties of this phone is like the phone cameras, memory, some other stuff. But what is the functionality of this phone? The functionality is like when you use that property to click the photo. So clicking the photo is the functionality of this one of the functionality of this phone, right? So it is using camera, the property of this phone, to click the photos, and the clicking photo is the functionality. Talking on the phone is the functionality. So each object that exists in the word, it has two things always, that is called properties and the function or functionalities or feature or methods. Understood? All right. So like anything in the word, like if there is a chair, there is a table, everything is the object. If I say like white table is object, yes, table is object because table size, table color, all those like table color, table size, all the properties of a table. Okay, keeping the book in the table, putting the laptop in the table, we can keep the laptop. That is the functionality of the table, right? Also the functionality of the table. So what I'm trying to say, objects is anything exists. Object means like anything exists in the word is called object. All right, an object. Remember it. Always object always had two things: properties and the functionalities. You can take any example of in the word. All right. Okay. So now, so let's now understand. Okay. So I explained to you what is the POP and what is the drawback of the procedural oriented programming. Okay. Now I explained you what is the object, and now let me explain you what is the object oriented programming. So object means like in when I said object oriented means the focus of this programming is going to be object, not the functionalities. All right. So let's say there is a bank. Now bank want to follow the object oriented approach. So now I came to open the account in the bank. So bank is saying, okay, come enroll with us by filling this form. And if you are going to open the saving account, we are going to give you two functionalities: deposit the money, withdraw the money. We will have your some properties like your account holder name, account number, balance, etc. So all those three things are properties, but you are going to get two functionality from this: deposit the money and withdraw the money. So, but to use those functionality, first you have to enroll with this bank. You have to become the member of this bank or account holder of this bank. All right. Second person came. What bank is saying? Okay, come and fill up your form here. Then you can also use the same functionality. Third person came, fill up the form here, and became the our account holder. You will also be able to use the same functionality. So here, what we are saying, you don't need to extend the branches. One branch can handle the same operation for so many objects, so many people. Understand? So that is the basic difference in both language. Okay. Now this particular things you have going to be one branch. One branch will be used by so many people. Definitely your program is going to be very simple because your program going to be less because you have written same methods, but just different people are going to use that. But in the POPs, in procedural oriented programming, you are writing so many functions based on the person. All right. So this is about like real life example. But if I take the example of this programming language, like how this can be implemented in the programming language, I'll give you a simple example. Let's say I want to write a method, or there's requirement to write a method. That method can add two values. Those two value could be integer, could be string, could be the decimal, or something else. Okay. So now if I follow the pops, you have to write one method for integer to add the numbers. You have to write one method to add the string. You have to write another method to add the decimal. So you have to write three methods to achieve the same one feature, one functionalities. You see what I'm saying? But when you comes to the object oriented programming, there you just need to write the one method. One method can help you to achieve the all three functionalities because the behavior of function is same. When I said behavior of the function is same, that means when I said behavior of the function is same, that means we are just adding two things. All right. Okay. But you can achieve the same things just by writing one simple function, and this thing can be implemented by one of the feature in oops is called polymorphism. I'm not going in detail now, but I promise you I'm going to cover. There is so many features of the oops, like in encapsulation, abstraction, polymorphism, inheritance, the four pillar of the object oriented programming. So if you understand these four things and how to implement in the your complex project or real programming language, you are the boss of the program. All right. So, and the thing is, like I'm going to talk in the next videos. Probably I'll try to cover each of the feature in very detail in the very basic language, so that you can understand with the real life example, and also you can understand the same thing in your programs. Because when you relate your programming with the real life, it's very easy to implement, it's very easy to understand, it's very easy to relate. You see what I'm saying? All right. I hope, guys, you got my point, what I was trying to explain, and I hope this is going to really help you to understand the need of the object oriented programming. So, thank you so much for watching this video. And if you wanted to learn something more about it, or if you have question, feel free to post the comment. And see you again in the next video. Thank you for watching, guys. Take care. Bye.